Hey everyone, what's up? It's Adam, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing a oldie but goodie, and I'm not sure why I didn't review these when they were first released. Time just goes by quick and sometimes you get interested in other products, but I will be covering a long-term review of the Jabra Elite 75Ts. They were popular when they were first released, but since they did their little update with software for the active noise canceling, and I say that like that because it's kind of weird how they didn't shoot for that in the beginning and waited until the 85Ts, which I also reviewed. I'll have that review in the link below. I'm not sure why they didn't just do that jumping up from the 65Ts. So with all that being said, let's get into the long-term review of these bad boys and how they've done over time. First thing I'm going to cover is the fit of these. How do they fit? Well, after using so many different earbuds, I will say when it comes to earbuds that fit in your ear where they insert into the ear canal with no ear hooks and no loops or horns or whatever you want to call it, these are one of my favorite fitting true wireless earbuds. And that's simply because they just found a way to make them slim enough to where you twist them in and they stay. Now, when I smile or I move my mouth around or as I'm talking, they don't really loosen up. Now, if I were to yawn or if I were to laugh, I do notice like those situations, yes, they loosen up and you have to slightly adjust them. Now, how do they fit when it comes to working out in them? Well, I have a weighted jump rope. I go for jogs and long walks. I've done a bunch of different things. When gyms are open, when I first got these, I'd take them to the gym. I had no problem doing sit-ups or getting on and off the bench or doing lunges or things where you have no choice where if one were to fall out, that you can't stop what you're doing to pick that up. And I haven't had any issues like that at all. So for working out with the IP55 rating, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry about that. They are great for dust and water resistance. So even with that, I haven't submerged them in water, but after having sweating in them, not to sound gross for many times over, I just haven't had any issues even when it comes to that. Now, how does it feel when it comes to pressing the buttons and just the controls and everything like that? Well, I love how you can customize everything, including these being the first pair of true wireless earbuds I was able to actually control volume with. What a novel idea, and it's so frustrating till this day how there's some earbuds like the AirPods Pro or others that don't have that feature, where they have a lot of features, but for me that's the most important one because think about how many times you adjust your volume with so many different things, whether you're listening to music or a podcast or whatever. You have to adjust it in certain circumstances. Even if you open up Ambient Aware while you're walking around outside, someone comes up and talks to you, you have to either turn it down or take your earbud out, and it just makes it so much easier to do that if the controls are there. You can toggle through ANC, Ambient Aware, and also turn it off. Play pause, pressing once, skipping twice, etc. Kind of the typical thing you're used to with a pair of true wireless earbuds. But I have to say, the customizability, the cycle through Ambient ANC and turning that off, and the volume controls are absolutely my favorite thing about why the controls make these so easy to use. So I would say that's probably my favorite thing about using these earbuds is the controls and how native they feel, how customizable they feel. Now, there is one major flaw I'm about to bring up on these, and you probably already know what it is. But let's first talk about the cycles of Ambient ANC and turning it off. When it comes to the ANC and that software update, when you get these, especially if you get these brand new, you're going to have to do that software update. I think the ANC is good enough to where I'm glad they added it more than them not trying at all. They sort of remind me of being on par, if not a little bit better, than the JBL Reflect Mini ANCs, which those specifically promote active noise canceling. So they built them with the microphones specifically to do that. These, they have those microphones, but you can tell Jabra said, wait a minute, why are we not taking advantage of these? So they actually did perform well on that. It's enough to block out lows and, maybe compressed air, doors opening and closing, footsteps, people talking gets muted down, things like that. But that's really where it's going to start and stop. It's not, if there's a speaker above you, it's not going to do well at blocking that out. It's not going to do well at blocking out coffee shop noises or maybe silverware when you're doing dishes and things like that, of course, or even a loud dryer and things like that. It doesn't perform well enough to do that, and I think it's because the microphones just weren't built strong enough to be able to block out as much noise as possible. So with the ambient and noise canceling levels, the thing I noticed the most is there's a lot of white noise, and it's not like piercing or anything, but you definitely pick up on it, especially if you're listening to podcasts or audiobooks and things like that. And I don't really notice that with other ANC earbuds or headphones as much as I do with these. Not even with something as strong as Bose or Sony noise canceling headphones. It's very faint and it just comes across natural. Where these, it sounds a little artificial. I may be over exaggerating, but I just want to give you a heads up in case that may bother you. Now, the biggest flaw of every true wireless earbud, if you know me and if you see my reviews, that is for sure the inability to use each earbud solo. Now, what is dope about these is you can connect to two devices at once. And is it the most seamless experience? No, usually I have to pause whatever it is I'm playing before I can answer a phone call, for example. Or if I have them connected to my MacBook and my iPhone, yes, I have to stop what I'm playing and then play that other thing. And sometimes I do have to tap connect to this phone in my Bluetooth settings in order for it to work. But it's a lot easier than having to disconnect and totally reconnect altogether. As far as distance with Bluetooth connection, I'm living in about a 1,200 square foot house. And so from my bedroom, if my iPhone's in my bedroom and I go all the way to the dining room, which is literally the opposite end of the house, there's still a connection, but as soon as I go in the backyard, forget it, it's gonna be lost. All right, so Jabra is claiming on their box that it's up to 7.5 hours of battery, 28 hours with a charging case in total. In my testing, what do I see on average? I see on average about 6.5 to 7, and I think it's because of that ANC update. If you look at these are the older model where they're not promoting ANC. On their newer releases, if you go to Best Buy or Target or I don't even know, Amazon, wherever they're sold nowadays, if you look on the box, you see, oh, ANC. So I got them before they promoted that. They probably changed the battery life levels after the fact, after they added ANC in that software update. So battery life's really good on these. The next thing we're gonna get into, let's get into a microphone test. All right, yo, this is me testing the Jabra Elite 75Ts in my office, quiet room. I'm just sitting in my chair. The chair's a little squeaky, but that's pretty much the only noise going on in here. Test 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're doing a microphone test of the Jabra Elite 75Ts, and I'll be quiet for a sec to see how much of the ambient noise simulating a coffee shop comes through. Now with that microphone test, obviously not the best, but I do like how you can hear yourself voice and they have side tone. That's always a major plus for me with any earbuds. It doesn't matter if it's headphones, a headset, true wireless earbuds. It's just so nice to know how loud you're talking and it gives you more confidence on a call, at least in my experience. All right, last but not least, or probably most important, which I feel bad I didn't bring up, and that's sound quality. How did these sound? Well, if it wasn't for the equalizer, I would say they sort of remind me of Sony more so than like a Bose or Sennheiser, where Bose and Sennheiser are more about hearing the details in music and the clarity and having that acoustic sound stage, that brighter sound to them. These perform best on the low end. The millimeter drivers are really strong and they have a lot of good bass. Now, out of the box default, they're not as deep as a Sony pair of true wireless earbuds. I feel like Sony promotes and pushes hard for the bass and the heavy hitting hip hop, or whatever it is you listen to, EMD, etc., where you want to feel the music as hard as possible and you don't care about detail and clarity or any of that. That's sort of what these are aiming for more, in my opinion. But with the equalizer, I will say overall, when I adjust it and I toy around with it, they do have good music quality for rock, for classical music, for if you like listening to a lot of piano and you want to really hear those keys, whatever it is, podcasts, audiobooks, everything sounds crisp enough to where you're not going to be disappointed or ever feel like things are muffled or muted down. So I will say these are good for pretty much every genre, but primarily if you want to actually care about bass and the lows more than anything else. So that's going to be my take on the soundstage and the performance of the sound. If I had to compare them to other true wireless earbuds I reviewed, I would say it's kind of interesting how these have a different soundstage completely. Actually, it's not interesting at all. The 85Ts are an update from this. So actually those have bigger millimeter drivers. I feel like they perform way better in sound quality than these. because I just think they have more thumping bass, more clarity, more detail in music. But it's kind of an unfair advantage because the millimeter drivers are bigger and those were made specifically for ANC performance. So they have more mics as well. So it might be an unfair comparison, but I have been seeing these on sale. I'm actually looking right now on my computer. I wanted to look it up on Best Buy and Amazon and maybe other websites. They retail for $149, but I'm consistently seeing these on sale sometimes for $119 to $129. So we got to take that factor in as well, you know, the price range. So with that being said, do I think these are worth it if you don't want to spend that extra $100 for the 85Ts? Absolutely. I mean, with the USB-C charging, they don't have wireless charging, but I like the colors. I like the call quality. That's good enough. Side tone, all the features in the app. That's a huge plus for customized controls. The equalizer, even the soundscapes that they have built into the app where you can play white noise on purpose to block out ambient noise or whatever it is to focus better on homework or work you got to do, or if you need to be left alone in thought for meditation, whatever it is you use it for, that's also a dope feature. So I haven't had any issues with connection with the sensors of autoplay, auto pause, with the touch controls. Well, it's an actual button, but you know what I mean. Haven't had any hardware issues with that. Mic quality hasn't diminished. ANC has been good so far. No crackling, no issues there. So it really doesn't matter if you have an Android device or an iOS device. I think if you're looking for something that's pretty universal and you want to give these a try, these are definitely a banger. I don't think you're going to have any issues. They offer a lot more than other true wireless earbuds in this price range. So I can't wait to see what Jabra comes out with their 95Ts. Because if you want the best of the best from Jabra with true wireless earbuds, get the 85Ts. But if you want something that you'll definitely be happy with, get these and you shouldn't have any issues. So I hope this review was helpful. Thank you for watching. To good health. I will see you on the next one.